My name is Eli. I am 27 years old, and I live in a quiet suburb just outside Denver, Colorado. I work as an electrical technician. It is not a dream job, but it is steady. It pays the bills, keeps the lights on in my small second-floor apartment, and leaves me enough money for a beer or two on the weekends. I like my life simple and predictable. No big surprises. No drama. Or at least that is what I used to think. My apartment is nothing special. Old hardwood floors that creak when I walk, a couch I bought off Craigslist, and a coffee maker that sounds like it might give up any day now. I have lived here long enough to know every sound. The hum of the air conditioner next door, the clatter of mailboxes in the morning, the smell of laundry drifting up from the basement. It all feels familiar, like background noise to my life. Right next door lives Chloe. She is 24 and in her final year of med school. Always tired, always studying, always rushing out the door with her hair half tied back and a coffee in her hand. We have been neighbors for almost 2 years. Somewhere along the way, she stopped feeling like just the girl next door and started feeling like part of my routine. We waved when we checked the mail, talked about the weather, sometimes split a pizza when neither of us felt like cooking. On slow Sunday nights, we watched movies together, usually old romantic comedies she loved and quoted word for word. It was easy, comfortable, safe. I never thought much about it. She was just Chloe, my neighbor, my friend. Until last Friday night. I was standing in front of my bedroom mirror, holding up 3 different shirts. A white one, a charcoal gray one, and a navy button-down that felt a little too formal. I was going on a date. My first real date in months. Her name was Haley. I met her at a friend's barbecue a few weeks earlier. She was a graphic designer with a quick laugh and a nice smile. Easy to talk to. I should have been excited. Instead, I felt stuck. I kept swapping shirts, holding them up to my chest, muttering to myself. None of them felt right. I knew I was overthinking it, but dating does that to me. Then I thought of Chloe. She always had a good eye for style. Once, she helped me pick a jacket for a work event, and people actually noticed. So without thinking too much, I grabbed the shirts and stepped into the hallway. I knocked on her door. Her TV was on inside, some medical drama playing in the background. After a moment, the door opened. Chloe stood there in an oversized gray hoodie, the sleeves covering her hands. Her dark hair was in a messy bun. She held a mug of tea, and her eyes looked tired. "Hey, Eli," she said. "What's up?" I held up the shirts. "Need your help. Got a date tonight and I'm failing the wardrobe part." For just a second, her expression changed. It was quick, but I noticed it. Something in her eyes shifted. She stepped aside and let me in. Her apartment looked like mine, but warmer. Books stacked on the coffee table, a blanket on the couch, the faint smell of lavender from a candle. I laid the shirts out. "So," I said, "which one makes me look normal and not like I'm trying too hard?" She sat on the floor, studying them like it was serious work. Her fingers brushed the white shirt. "The white one," she said softly. "It makes you look honest." I laughed. "Honest is good, right?" She didn't laugh back. She looked away. "Depends who you're trying to impress," she said, almost too quiet to hear. The room felt different then. Heavy, like something unspoken was filling the space between us. I tried to keep it light. "Her name's Haley. She's cool. I just don't want to mess it up." Chloe went quiet. Her fingers stayed on the edge of the white shirt. "You're blind, Eli," she whispered. I frowned. "What?" She looked up at me. Her eyes were shining, like she was holding something back. "I'm in love with you." The words hit me hard, like someone flipped a switch in my chest. I couldn't move. I just stood there holding the shirt, staring at her. She stood up fast, her face flushed. She turned toward the door and opened it wide. "Forget it," she said. "Just go." I tried to speak, but nothing came out. "Go, Eli," she said again, her voice breaking. I walked out. The door closed behind me with a soft click that sounded louder than it should have. I stood in the hallway for a second, my heart pounding. The white shirt felt heavy in my hands now. I went back into my apartment, not knowing what to think, only knowing that nothing felt simple anymore. I sat on my couch staring at the ceiling, the white shirt still crumpled in my hands. My heart was racing, not in a good way. More like I had missed a step going downstairs and my body was still trying to catch up. Chloe's words kept replaying in my head over and over. I'm in love with you. 3 simple words, but they felt heavy, like they had been waiting years to land. I checked the time. 7:15. I was supposed to meet Haley in 45 minutes at a little bistro downtown. I should have been excited. Haley was great. Smart, funny, easy to talk to. But as I pulled the white shirt over my head, all I could think about was Chloe. The way her voice cracked. The way she wouldn't look at me when she told me to leave. I grabbed my keys and headed out. The drive downtown felt unreal. Streetlights blurred past my windshield while my mind stayed stuck in that moment. Every memory with Chloe came rushing back. Pizza nights, movie quotes. The time she fixed my tie before a work event, and her fingers lingered just a second longer than necessary. Had it always been there, and I just never saw it? The restaurant was busy when I arrived. Haley was already there, sitting by the window. She stood up and smiled when she saw me. "Hey, Eli," she said. "Nice shirt." My stomach dropped. "Thanks," I said, forcing a smile as I sat down. We ordered drinks and started talking. She told me about a client who kept changing their design ideas. I told her a story about a job where a homeowner almost shocked himself trying to help me. She laughed. I smiled, but it felt like I was watching myself from far away. My eyes kept drifting toward the door, like I expected Chloe to walk in any second. "You okay?" Haley asked gently. "You seem a little distracted." "Yeah," I lied. "Long day at work." She nodded, but I could tell she wasn't fully convinced. Dinner passed quickly, but nothing really stuck. When we stepped outside into the cool night air, Haley smiled again, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. "Tonight was fun," she said. "It was," I said, knowing it wasn't true. We said goodbye, and I watched her walk to her car. Guilt settled in my chest. Haley deserved someone who was present, someone whose mind wasn't stuck on the girl next door. The drive home was quiet. No radio, just my thoughts. When I got back to my apartment building, it was almost 10. The hallway was silent. Chloe's door looked the same as always, but it felt different now, like a line I didn't know how to cross. I raised my hand to knock, then stopped. What would I even say? I went inside my apartment instead. The next few days were torture. Chloe disappeared. No morning wave by the mailboxes. No sound of her TV through the wall. No light under her door at night. It was like she had erased herself from my life, and I didn't realize how much space she took up until she was gone. I thought about texting her something casual, but every message felt wrong. Too small. Too late. By Monday morning, I couldn't take it anymore. I stopped at the coffee shop downstairs and ordered her usual, medium latte with oat milk. I left it by her door before heading to work. No note. Just the cup. When I got home that evening, it was gone. No message. No sign of her, but the empty spot outside her door felt like something. She had seen it. She had taken it. That night, I lay on my couch again, staring at the ceiling. The white shirt was still on the floor. Chloe's face kept flashing in my mind. Her laugh. Her quiet moments. The way she always made my apartment feel less empty. By Saturday, I knew I couldn't avoid it anymore. I grabbed 2 lattes and knocked on her door. It opened slowly. Chloe stood there looking exhausted. Her eyes were red like she hadn't been sleeping. She wore the same gray hoodie from that night. "Eli," she said quietly, "I didn't think you'd come." "I didn't know how not to," I said, holding up the coffees. She stepped aside and let me in. We sat on her couch, the cups between us. The silence stretched until it felt unbearable. "I'm sorry," she said finally. "I shouldn't have said anything." "You didn't do anything wrong," I said. "You were honest." She shook her head. "I've been in love with you for months, maybe longer. I just couldn't keep pretending." Her words settled deep in my chest. "I don't know exactly what I feel yet," I admitted, "but I know the last few days without you felt wrong." She looked up at me, hope and fear mixed in her eyes. "I don't want to lose you," I said. "I want to figure this out, together." She nodded slowly. Okay, but we go slow. Slow is good, I said. She smiled then. Small, hesitant, but real. And for the first time since that night, the air between us felt lighter. We sat there for a while after that, not saying much. The silence felt different now. Not heavy or painful. Just quiet, like both of us were scared to move and break something new that had just started to form. The coffee on the table went cold, but neither of us touched it. You want to watch something? Chloe asked softly. I nodded. Your choice. One of those movies you can quote without even looking at the screen. She let out a small laugh, the sound easing the tension in the room. She picked an old romantic comedy we had seen more times than I could count. The opening music filled the apartment, familiar and comforting. We sat on opposite ends of the couch at first. I could feel the space between us, like a line we were both aware of. Halfway through the movie, Chloe shifted closer. Her shoulder brushed against my arm. She didn't say anything, just rested her head lightly against me. My body went still. I didn't pull away. I didn't move closer either. I just stayed there, letting the moment exist. Her warmth seeped through my sleeve, and my heart thumped louder than the movie playing in front of us. When the credits rolled, neither of us moved. Thanks for coming over, she said quietly. I really didn't think you would. I couldn't just pretend everything was normal, I said, not without you. She smiled at that. A small smile, but one that felt real. We talked for a while after. About her exams, about my work, about nothing important and everything at the same time. It felt easy again, but different. Like the same room with the lights turned on. When I stood to leave, it was already past midnight. She walked me to the door. Thanks for not running, she said. I smiled. I wouldn't know where to run. That night I slept better than I had in days. The next morning I found a small note taped to my door. It was written in Chloe's neat handwriting. If you need fashion advice again, I'm still here. But next time, wear the shirt for me. I laughed out loud, folding the note and slipping it into my pocket. That evening, we met for coffee downstairs. It was easy, comfortable. She looked lighter, like she had finally let go of something heavy. We talked about her finals and joked about my terrible taste in music. Every now and then, our eyes met, and there was that pause, that quiet understanding. After coffee, we walked back to the building together. The night air was cool. We stopped at the bottom of the stairs, neither of us ready to go inside yet. This feels different, she said. Yeah, I agreed, but it feels right. She stepped a little closer, close enough that I could smell her shampoo, lavender. I've spent months telling myself this was stupid, she admitted, that you'd never see me that way. I see you now, I said, her breath caught. She reached for my hand, slow, like she was giving me time to pull away. I didn't. Our fingers intertwined, warm and sure. Let's keep it simple, she said. No pressure. Deal, I said, but I'm still going to need help picking shirts. She laughed, a real laugh that broke through the quiet night. At her door, she turned to face me. Thanks for tonight. Any time, I said. She went inside, and I stood there for a second, feeling something settle into place. Not fireworks. Not a grand moment. Just a calm certainty. For the first time, I wasn't thinking about what came next. I was just happy to be right where I was. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of Chloe's TV through the wall. Some medical show she always fell asleep to. I smiled without thinking. It felt strange how something so small could change the way my whole day started. At work, my hands moved on their own, fixing wires and checking panels, but my mind stayed with her, with the way she had looked at me in the parking lot, with the warmth of her hand in mine. I kept touching the folded note in my pocket like I needed proof that all of it was real. When I got home, the sky was painted in soft orange and pink, the kind of sunset that makes everything feel calm. I texted her, "Coffee tonight. My treat." Her reply came almost right away. "Only if it's oat milk." We met at the little coffee shop downstairs, the one with the mismatched chairs and the chalkboard menu that never changed. I got there early and grabbed our usual table by the window. When Chloe walked in, my chest tightened in a good way. Her hair was down, and she wore a navy sweater that looked comfortable and familiar, like her. She smiled when she saw me. Not nervous, not guarded, just warm. "You're early," she said, sitting across from me. "Didn't want to risk messing this up," I said. She laughed, and it felt like home. We talked about everything. Her finals, my work, the little things we never talked about before. There was no rush, no pressure. Just two people sitting across from each other, finally paying attention. After coffee, we walked back together. The parking lot was quiet. We stopped at the stairs again like neither of us wanted the night to end. "This still scares me," she admitted. "It scares me too," I said, "but I don't want to stop." She stepped closer, resting her head against my shoulder. I wrapped my arm around her without thinking. It felt natural, like something I had always known how to do. "I'm glad you asked me about that shirt," she said softly. "So am I," I replied. At her door, she looked up at me, her eyes calm and sure. "Slow," she reminded me. "Slow," I agreed. She kissed my cheek, quick and gentle, then went inside. I stood there smiling like an idiot. That night, I slept better than I had in years. The next morning, she knocked on my door. I opened it wearing the white shirt. She smiled.